In the long history of imperial China, no ruler remains as controversial, powerful, and fascinating as Wu Zetian. Rising from the rank of a low-level concubine to become the only woman in Chinese history to rule as emperor, Wu Zetian transformed political power into something almost divine. Born in 624 during the reign of Emperor Taizong of Tang, Wu entered the imperial court as a teenage concubine. After Taizong's death, court tradition forced many concubines into Buddhist monasteries, but Wu Zetian refused to disappear into obscurity. Through intelligence, patience, and ruthless strategy, she returned to the palace and captured the attention of Taizong's son, Emperor Gaozong of Tang. Once inside the inner circle of power, Wu began reshaping the political landscape. Rivals mysteriously vanished. Accusations of treason appeared overnight. Even members of the royal family fell under suspicion. Whether through calculated manipulation or brutal purges, Wu eliminated anyone who stood in her way. But Wu Zetian understood something many rulers did not. Fear alone is not enough to rule an empire. To secure her legitimacy, she turned to religion and propaganda. She promoted Buddhism across the empire and encouraged the idea that she was a divinely chosen ruler, even linking herself to the future Buddha known as Maitreya. Temples, scholars, and official texts began portraying Wu as heaven's chosen sovereign. In 690 AD, Wu Zetian did the unthinkable. She forced the abdication of her own son and declared herself emperor, founding the short-lived Zhou dynasty between the periods of the Tang dynasty. Her rule was not just about power, it was also about reform. Wu expanded the civil service examination system, allowing talented commoners to rise into government positions. She strengthened agriculture, reduced corruption among aristocrats, and expanded the empire's influence. For many ordinary people, her reign brought stability and opportunity. Yet the darker side of her rule remained legendary. Secret police networks, brutal interrogations, and political executions became tools of state control. Her enemies called her a tyrant. Her supporters called her a visionary. Wu Zetian ruled for decades, commanding one of the most powerful empires on Earth. When she was finally forced to step down in 705 AD, she left behind a legacy that historians still debate today. Was she a ruthless usurper who ruled through fear, or a brilliant political mastermind who reshaped imperial China? Perhaps she was both. What cannot be denied is this: Wu Zetian mastered the two forces that shape empires, divine authority and absolute fear. Even after seizing the throne, Wu Zetian knew that holding power was far more difficult than taking it. China's elite aristocratic families, especially those loyal to the old Tang dynasty, viewed her rule as unnatural. A woman claiming the title of emperor threatened centuries of political tradition. Rebellion and conspiracies quietly formed within the court. Wu Zetian responded with a mixture of brilliance and intimidation. She created one of the earliest state intelligence networks in Chinese history. Secret investigators monitored officials, generals, and even members of the royal family. Any whisper of betrayal could lead to interrogation, exile, or execution. The message was clear: loyalty was survival. But fear alone could not stabilize an empire of millions. Wu Zetian carefully built a new power base. Instead of relying on noble families, she promoted talented scholars from humble backgrounds through the imperial examination system. This policy weakened the aristocracy and strengthened the central government, creating officials who owed their careers directly to her. She also launched major construction and agricultural reforms that improved food production and strengthened the economy. Under her leadership, China remained one of the richest and most powerful states in the world. Yet Wu Zetian understood that political authority required something deeper than armies and laws. It required myth. Using Buddhist prophecy, scholars in her court promoted the idea that she was the reincarnation of a sacred ruler destined to bring harmony to the world. Temples produced texts that described a divine monarch who would appear to restore cosmic balance, and Wu Zetian positioned herself as that ruler. This spiritual legitimacy helped quiet critics and inspire loyalty among the population. For a time, it worked, but as she aged, the empire grew uneasy. Court factions returned, corruption spread, and powerful ministers began plotting to restore the Tang royal line. In 705 AD, a palace coup forced the aging empress to abdicate, restoring the dynasty she had once replaced. Yet history never erased her. Despite centuries of criticism from Confucian historians who condemned her ambition, modern scholars increasingly recognize Wu Zetian as one of China's most capable rulers. She broke political barriers that had existed for over 1,000 years. She reshaped the imperial bureaucracy, strengthened the state, and proved that power in ancient China could come not only from bloodlines, but from intelligence, strategy, and unrelenting will. More than 1,300 years later, Wu Zetian remains a symbol of political mastery. To some, she was a ruthless tyrant. To others, a visionary reformer. But to history, she will always be remembered as the Iron Empress, who ruled an empire through both divine power and fear.